Hi everyone, myself Swapna Changoda. I am working as Assistant Professor in SCG Institute of Technology. Today I am going to explain one of the experiments in the Fluid Mechanics and Hydraulics Machines Laboratory, that is OGVA. So you can observe here I have drawn the diagram of the OGVA. Okay. So in the OGVA we have provided a sharp crest. Here I have shown the mark. So at this point we have provided the sharp crest, and above this weir, what is the water flowing? So that portion we can call it as a nepping. Okay. And one of the speciality of this OG weir it is, so in the upstream side, this one it is the upstream side and this one it is the downstream side. In the upstream side, so the water can rise up to a maximum height of 0.115 times of H. So that is the speciality of this OG weir. Okay. So here H means that is nothing but head above the inlet in the upstream side. So here I have shown that mark. Okay. So capital letter H. So this is regarding this OG weir, and you can observe here after the water that has rises up to a maximum height of 0.115 times of H, later that will fall here. Okay. So that is regarding the OG weir, and how much discharge that is flowing in this OG weir we can calculate by using the empirical formula, that is nothing but we are having a one formula, Q theoretical it is equal to 2/3 into L into square root of 2G into H raised to 3/2. Okay. By using this formula we can calculate the Q theoretical value that is flowing in the weir. Okay. And here in this experiment OG weir, our aim is to calculate, otherwise to determine the coefficient of discharge. We know that the coefficient of discharge formula CD it is equal to QA by Q theoretical. Okay. So CD coefficient of discharge, QA it is nothing but actual discharge, QTF it is nothing but a theoretical discharge. Okay. So this actual discharge we can measure by conducting the experiment, and this Q theoretical we are having an empirical formula. By using that, so we can calculate the Q theoretical value. If you substitute, finally you can get the value of coefficient of discharge. Okay. So before conduction of this experiment we need some observation. Here I have listed that observation. Initially I need a point gauge reading at the crest level of the OG weir. So we will represent that value as a H1, small letter H1, that is in terms of meter. Okay, care should be taken. So this value you should take without allowing the water. Before conduction of the experiment you can take this H1 value, and this value H1 it is constant for all the trials. Second one observation we need, it is the length of the OG weir. Length of the OG weir we will represent as a capital letter L. Okay. So this is nothing but the width of the channel. I will show you later during the conduction of experiment this capital letter L. So that is also in terms of meter. And next one observation, it is the area of collecting a tank. Okay. So collecting tank area we can measure, that is in terms of meter square. Along with this observation, we need one small calculation regarding the constant. Okay, so we need the constant C for the tabulation. Constant C it is nothing but 2/3 of L into square root of 2G. In this equation, the L represent length of the weir, nothing but width of the channel, and G represent acceleration due to gravity. Okay. So acceleration due to gravity value it is 9.81 meter per second square. If you substitute these values, so you can get the value of constant C. Okay. So this is regarding the observation we needed for conducting the experiment. So let us we will move to the conduction of OG weir experiment. Okay. So let us we will move to the procedure how to conduct this experiment for this OG weir. Okay. So this is the structure of OG weir, what you are seeing. Okay. So behind this OG weir we can call it as upstream side, and front side of this OG weir we can call it as the downstream side. Okay. So and this one it is the crest point, sharp crest I have shown in the diagram. This is the sharp crest provided in the OG weir, and this is the height, that is 0.115 times of H. Okay. So that we have provided to reach the maximum height of water. And this portion above this weir, the length, otherwise the head of the water flowing, we can call it as a neppe. Okay. And this one it is the pointer gauge. We can use this pointer gauge to measure the head of the water. So let us move to the procedure. So before move to the procedure, we need some observation, that is the length of the weir. I told that length of the weir from this point to this point, nothing but the width of the channel we can measure by using the Okay, so that will give the length of the weir. And also you need the collecting tank area. So you can measure that collecting tank area. Okay, so these are some observations. So let us start the first trial. So for the first trial, so we need some water. So valve it is there behind that tank. Without allowing that valve, I need to take a H1 reading. So H1 reading, that is nothing but I have shown it in the observation. Okay, so H1 reading you should take at the crest level. Here it is the crest level. I will adjust this pointer gauge until it touches the surface of this crest. Okay, so now the pointer gauge, it touches the surface of the crest. So I will take the initial reading, that is nothing but the H1. So without allowing the water, you should take this H1 reading, and this H1 reading, it is constant for the all traces. So there is no changes in that value. After that, I will open that supply valve so that the water it will flow in this open channel, and wait 4 to 5 minutes until the flow it is constant. So after that, when the flow it is constant, you need to take the H2 reading. So H2 reading you need to take above the weir. So that is in the neppe you can take that reading. So suppose, so assume that the water it is flowing above this weir. So okay, so this is the surface of the water. At the surface of the water, I will adjust this pointer gauge. So that portion we can call it as a neppe. Above that neppe, you can take that H2 reading. Okay, so H1, H2 reading, you have taken that one, and later you can go for the collecting tank reading. Okay, so in the collecting tank reading, we should note down the time taken for 20 centimeter rise. Okay, so this is regarding a brief procedure. What I told that procedure, that is for the first trial. Similarly, for several trials, you can repeat that procedure by increasing the discharge. Okay, so let us, we will move to the conduction of this. Okay, so let us start the conduction of this experiment. I have already taken the H1 value. Before allowing the water, I need to take the H2 reading. You can observe here the flow it is constant. Okay, so now it is ready to take the H2 reading. So I adjust this pointer gauge till it touches the water surface. Okay, so now it touches the water surface. So you can note down the reading of H2. Along with this H1, H2, you can also take the collecting tank reading for 20 centimeter rise. So you should note down the time taken. Okay, so this is for the first trial. Similarly, so you can increase the discharge by using the supply valve, and you can note down the H2 reading and corresponding collecting tank reading. Okay, so this is regarding the conduction for this OE. So let us move to the tabulation. Okay, so initially serial number it is there, so you can write the trial number here, and next column it is regarding the head over the crest. So in the observation, we have already taken this head over the crest H1 before allowing the water. That should be in terms of centimeter. Okay, and next head over the neppe. So during the conduction of experiment for different trials, we have taken this head over the neppe H2 value, that is in terms of centimeter, and you can write that value here. Next column it is regarding a difference in the head. Capital letter H, it is equal to H1 difference H2 divided by 100. Okay, so H1 it is there in the previous column. It is constant for all the trials, H1 value, minus H2 it is there. So H2 it is there in the previous column. So you can write that value. So divided by 100, you will get the value of difference in head, that is in terms of meter. Okay, so next one, it is regarding the time taken to rise 20 centimeter of water. We can denote that value as a small letter t, that is in terms of second. During the conduction of experiment, we have taken this value. Next column it is related to the Q actual. Okay, so actual discharge, that is equal to A into R by T. Capital letter A represent collecting tank area. Capital letter R represent rise. So rise we have taken 20 centimeter, otherwise 0.2 meter, divided by T it is there. So T it is there in the previous column. Here you can take that value. So we will get the Q actual in terms of meter cube per second. Next one column it is regarding the Q theoretical. Q theoretical it is nothing but C into H raised to 3 by 2. So in the observation, I have given the formula for the C. So you can calculate that value C and substitute here. H it is there in the previous column, difference in the head. Okay, so you can use that value for the different trials, and you can calculate the value of Q theoretical in terms of meter cube per second. Okay, Next column, it is related to the CD, coefficient of discharge. In this experiment, our aim it is to calculate the coefficient of discharge. Okay, coefficient of discharge formula, it is the ratio of Q actual by Q theoretical. Q actual it is there here. Okay, Q theoretical also it is there in the previous column. You can use that value, so you will get the value of CD. Next, I need to calibrate these values for the Ogilvy. So I need the log values, log H I need, and log Q actual also I need. Okay, log H value it is there in the previous column, and Q actual also it is there in the previous column. So you can apply the log, you will get this log H and log Q actual. So this is regarding the tabulation for the Ogilvy. Okay, so let us will move to the nature of graph for this Ogilvy. So I have drawn the log H in the x-axis and log QA in the y-axis. Okay, so this is the origin point, and our graph that will lies in a third quadrant because log H and log QA both are negative values. Okay, so I have plotted the graph for different trails, that is 5 trails, and I have obtained a one straight line. This is a straight line, and I have drawn the slope here. Okay, so this is a dy value, and this one it is the dx value. From this origin up to this straight line point, so I will mark this value, it is a log k to the base 10. So it is a negative value because our graph it is there in the third quadrant, and here I need the k value. So for that, log k to the base 10, that is equal to a negative value, and k I need it here. So k it is nothing but anti-log of minus that value. Okay, so you can get the value of k here, and I need the CD value. So CD it is nothing but the formula k by c. K I have calculated in the previous step, and C it is there in the observation, already have calculated. So substitute that value, you will get the value of CD, and that CD should match with your tabulation value. Okay, so next I need the chuck. Okay, so here I will write that chuck for this Ogilvy. So chuck it is nothing but we are having the equation, that is log Q actual, that is equal to log K plus n log H. Okay, so in this equation we have taken 5 trails in the tabulation, so you can select any one trail value, that is log QA value, and corresponding log H value. Substitute here, log K it is there in the graph. Okay, so you can use that value, and slope. So here I have drawn the slope, n it is nothing but that is slope equal to dy by dx. So you can obtain some value for the slope. So take that slope value and substitute here. If you substitute all the values and simplify this equation, you should get LHS is equal to, otherwise nearly equal to RHS. Okay, so then your calibration it will complete. So this is regarding the nature of graph for the Ogilvy. Okay, so this will complete the discussion regarding the Ogilvy, that is a determination of coefficient of discharge, and also calibration for the Ogilvy. Thank you.